Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
It's the best day of the week. Come on.
Jamie, how was the executive trip in New York? Did you go to the Jazz?
Oh, we went to Jazz. We went to a piano bar. We went to some live music.
Did you get a tattoo?
No tattoos, I promise. Yeah.
Dang it.
Okay.
But it did not make me miss November in New York. It's weather was could have been better.
I had my first snow yesterday of the season. I walked outside and there were all these little flurries and I was like, oh my God, I'm not in Miami anymore. For real, for real.
You actually have to wear a jacket. Who would have thought?
I know. My jacket collection, I think I've got everything I need, but there is an assortment of jackets now. So.
Sheesh. We were running around shorts and short sleeves yesterday doing yard work. So very, very different down here in the South, Brandy.
Yeah.
As you recall from just a couple months ago.
I know. Back in my Florida days.
I'm going to say, Michael, at least you didn't get sunburned. Looks like you're safe from the sun.
Well, yeah, I stayed in the shade of the trees that are losing all of their leaves and filling my yard. Brandy, you had a pretty interesting and exciting week last week. Care to elaborate?
Yeah, I have officially started a new job. I have joined. I have joined the team at STRs, so as the senior director of operations. So, kind of going, streamlining processes and things like that across all of the brands. It's been really fun to start digging in and it's the difference between urban multifamily STR and now I'm like really in the original, the OG vacation rental landscape. So it's I'm very excited. It's gonna be fun to kind of learn about the other side of the business more in depth.
And for all those that don't know, STR is one of the handful of private equity groups in the industry acquiring hyper-local traditional vacation rental markets.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Brandy? Okay.
So it's part of it's the popular, it's the kind of the thing of the moment, the PE roll-ups. But it's interesting. I was like, oh, I feel like this is going from kind of like bootstrapped operator to a PE backed firm. But it's also like a startup because it's a new company. So it's still kind of in that realm, which is fun.
Well, speaking of no longer bootstrapped operators,
Perfect segue.
Yeah, nailed that one. There were two pretty significant fundraisers announced last week. LocalBird secured $7.4 million. We'll jump into what they do in just a second. And BoomPop raised $25 million. BoomPop is a event planning platform. They say they're AI event planning platform, but I think you have to do that to raise money these days. They are an event-based platform where people can do corporate offsites, events.
And that got $25 million. That's crazy.
Think about the trends though, right?
This is their second raise, right? I believe.
They might have done a seed round. It didn't say what round it was. But I mean, you think about everybody is remote these days and you got to bring people together. And it is a painful process. I mean, we've done retreats for many years and even a small 15-person retreat is a lot of work. So being able to take the back and forth and the pricing and what the needs are of each event makes total sense to bring that into a platform because traditionally in hotels, that is a manual process. LocalBird goes back to something that we've talked about as it relates to Airbnb and the strange decision for them not to cut in vacation rental operators into selling local tours and events. So LocalBird fills that need where any events that you sell as a management company, you get a piece of the pie, unlike Airbnb. Jamie?
Yeah, I've seen these guys around at the conferences for the past like 3 or 4 years now, and they go and curate the experiences, then make them bookable through your direct booking site, and then you get a piece of the pie of every booking that your sort of guest makes. So and huge, and congrats to them of like doing the work to not only find all these local experiences that can get booked, but then going and finding the hosts and professional managers that can then distribute them. So really building that two-sided marketplace.
They
Yeah, I was
also
gonna say-
bring a very cute dog to all the conferences.
Yeah. I was say they've been around for a while. I remember meeting them at the Book Direct conference in Miami when we were all there. So that was a long time ago. It was like 2021, I think. So
Startup hustle is not for the faint of heart. So
100%.
big congrats. And now the real fun begins, having investors breathing down your throat. So
I love it. I love it. Well, we got two big topics to cover on today's episode around Google kind of making some big AI changes and how they're not becoming an OTA. And for those who are watching, you see me air quote that. For those who are listening, just FYI. But yeah, they are making some changes to the platform and going more agentic, but they say they have no plans to become an OTA, which I kind of think is a little off-putting when you're doing all the changes to look like an OTA and to act like an OTA, but you're not becoming an OTA. I would be curious to hear your thoughts, Jamie, because I know you guys also have, you have your own PMS at AirDNA called Uplisting. So you work with a lot of OTAs. Do you think this is becoming more of an OTA, or what are your thoughts?
No, I think I've said this. I've been really consistent on this on the AI agents. They're not trying to become OTAs, and they are trying to aggregate supply and sort of bring forward options for trips, and that those bookings are either going to go, and they're with like Google Flights. Yeah, they push you directly to Delta, Frontier, and even now Southwest. But with the hotel options, and Google makes a lot of money pushing demand through to the OTAs, through to Expedia, Booking. And I don't see them wanting to, or I'm trying to change that business model. They're not going to go and do the work to make all these direct relationships happen. And ultimately, they want all these great AI tools to actually drive incremental referral revenues to them. And who are those referrals going to come from? And it's the OTAs. So I'd say you don't bite the hand that feeds you.
yeah, their top two, Google's top two ad spenders are Booking and Expedia. So you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. However, Jamie, of all the AI or LLMs out there, Google is the one that makes the most sense to become an OTA. They already have access. They already know all of the travel data. They've been doing it for years. It could very easily be the flick of a switch, and Google is the number one OTA tomorrow if they made that decision. And it's not even close. So I think, yes, for now, they're saying they're not. I wouldn't put money on that for over the next decade. Maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10. But for Google to sit out on the OTA game for another 10 years, I would be absolutely mind blown.
Well,
I'm willing to put another money down on another decade of them sitting on the sidelines.
Okay, mark it, flag it, Will.
I was going to say, Paul Manzi says it's hard to turn down $8 billion in ad spend revenue, which is correct. But also, I just don't get why why would they care about the OTAs with the inventory when the inventory is already probably listed on them directly as well? Like they can just go to the site.
Exactly. So $8 billion in ad revenue is great. You're right. But how much revenue is Booking and Expedia and Airbnb combined? Jamie, you might know that off the top of your head, but my guess is it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $8+ billion.
I think, like, are we even going to need OTAs? Like, is that like if these agents can just make it all happen within your chat, like maybe this isn't even the right conversation to be having. And then Manzi was saying that like this meta search engine, but that line is really blurring. And we had talked offline about AEO, like AI engine optimization, and how we kind of like need to dig into that. But that's just like the next SEO. It's like, how are these companies going to make it so that Google is actually just pulling their information? And, what that does for everybody's direct sites is like another episode in and of itself. But I think I can kind of see OTAs becoming a thing of the past if Google can just like aggregate everything in its little chat, and then you have your trip booked.
Yeah. Well, for a day or two, the Expedia and Booking stocks dropped 4 to 7%, and so the market got spooked by it. But if you were an AI trip planner, that with the shift from we might become an OTA, never mind, we're an AI trip planner.
Yeah.
Good luck competing with Google now. So sorry.
But then also, I mean, there's been Google has tried to enter the foray into hospitality before with surprisingly limited success, like Google Vacation Rentals and Google Flights is really, I mean, you're not booked, you're just kind of getting to the direct site from there. So they had an opportunity to dominate for the last, 10 years, and they didn't really execute on that as well as they could have. So who knows, those trip planners, they could still have that founder's optimism that they can take on Google, and maybe they can. Who knows?
Yeah, but we were also saying backstage too that, everyone's worried about, being replaced with layoffs and all this other stuff because AI is becoming so efficient. Yet people do all these layoffs and then the AI is not that efficient. And they're realizing like, oh, we still kind of got to guard this thing a little bit. It needs a lot of hand holding. I don't think AI is there. I know I'm yelling at my chat GPT every day, like, you dumb bot clanker, like you're not supposed to use M dashes anymore. Come on. Like
use this word. Don't call it names. It doesn't forget.
Yeah, it has a literally infinite memory. So when the bots come for us in 50 years, it'll remember that you weren't nice.
I will be long gone before that happens. So I don't expect my life expectancy that far. But yeah, I don't know. That's just my thinking. It's not that efficient yet. So it's still got a long ways to go. But out of all the companies to bet on, I bet Google is the one that is going to be one of the top leaders for sure. So,
Jamie, 10 years from now, November 24th, 2035, when your oldest is off to college, we will revisit this discussion and see who won. $10 inflation adjusted.
Inflation adjusted. I do love in the article, how all these like clips of executives trying to like quell the fears, like, oh no, we're not coming for you. And it's like, yeah, they are. Like they're not. I don't know. It's funny to see like the forward facing politics, but I bet it's a big business opportunity to leave on the line.
100%.
Yeah. Another big business opportunity to not leave on the line is the World Cup. And
we saw
we saw a down year of international inbound tourism to the States this year. Jamie, that's not going to happen next year, is it?
I don't expect it'll be another down year. If we get back to 2014 levels or even 2019 levels, I think it's yet to be seen. But it is going to be a big year for international travel to the U.S. because of the World Cup. So we've got 2 months of games. The bookings have already started to happen. The draw is coming up on December 5th. You guys have your calendars marked. I know a lot of hosts do. So we just at AirDNA released a tracker for looking at forward demand for not only the U.S. cities, but also in Canada and Mexico, where they've got 3 cities each hosting games. We were involved in quite a few host meetups over this past 2 weeks. There was one in Kansas City that our friend Tyann sort of put together. It was sort of a hosting 101 to get ready for the World Cup, which, no surprise, Airbnb, Vrbo, Booking.com, all sponsored, along with us, Price Labs, like a lot of those sort of industry vendors. And then we also participated one in Dallas this past weekend too, on getting hosts in Dallas excited about either being and bringing listings online or being a first-time host for the World Cup. So the excitement is palpable.
The traffic is going to be a nightmare everywhere. That's where that lack of public transportation really comes to bite you. Miami has one, I think the bronze medal game. And I'm like, the traffic to get to the Dolphin Stadium on like a good day is pretty terrible. I like can't even. And now that I'm in Boston, also like there is basically short-term rentals don't exist here. So I just, it's going to be very interesting to see how everybody gets crammed into these cities.
Yeah. So Paul makes a good comment that the team countries that get assigned to the destinations are going to make a big impact.
For sure.
So actually doing the analysis now, we're going to put out something next week on the teams as a host city you're going to be rooting for to get assigned to your city. Because like the difference between getting like Argentina, Brazil, and Germany, UK, where the fans travel, versus I'm getting Curacao or some other small sort of island.
Well, Curacao might travel because there's all this national pride over going. Maybe like literally the entire country will travel for the game.
Maybe Iran as a better example.
But I love that's like one. I always love the underdog stories, and Curacao is actually a team. I highly doubt they're going to make it past the first round, but I love that Cinderella story.
Scotland, guys, Scotland. First time in 26 years, they're back. It always total sidebar, but it always gets me when Scotland competes in the World Cup, but in the Olympics, it's the United Kingdom. But that's my comment. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I don't have enough knowledge on the inner politics of international football.
Yeah, and another interesting thing that the article in Jamie's data showed, Mexico has only 2 host cities, so they're expected to have significant supply compression versus in the U.S. I don't remember how many cities there were, but it's a lot more than 2, and so it'll be dispersed a little bit better. But nonetheless, the world loves soccer a lot more than typical American. So it'll be a fun summer.
My parents said that when we hosted the Olympics back in like the 90s, they met a German couple and they're like, "Oh, you're going to like follow the team?" And they're like, "Yep, we're going to go like here, here, and here, and we're going to take the train." And my parents were like, "Oh, so you're not going to see all the games?" And they're like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "It will take you days to get between all of these locations." And they just like blew their mind. So if there's any international people listening, definitely look at how long the train times are if that's your chosen method of transportation.
For sure. Well, Jamie, I liked in the article that was released on Skift about this, that a lot of these urban city markets don't really get this type of booking traction this far in advance, right? Like 6 months ahead. Can you like give us maybe some more insight on what these ADRs are looking like, or what are some other numbers that you guys are seeing over at AirDNA with these urban properties getting booked so far in advance?
Yeah. So a great example is a market like Seattle. So urban market, and typically like this far in advance for a market like Seattle, like looking at next summer, like it's like 2 or 3% occupancy this time. Now we're sitting at like, and for the group stage, 18% occupancy. And we're seeing massive increases in demand. So overall nights booked are way up, and it sort of centers so far around like where we know teams are playing. So Seattle's got really strong bookings because they're hosting the US's second game, and Guadalajara has really strong bookings because they've got Mexico's game. So for where we know like the host teams are playing, demand is through the roof. Los Angeles has the US first game, seeing really strong demand. So that's where like it's like a precursor. Like we already know where these teams are playing, and then December 5th we find out where everyone else is going to be playing. And like in talking and through this, like you think about a 2-month event. Like the Olympics was 2 weeks. And that saw massive on demand. Now you've got a 2-month long event. you've got all these teams, and I think some of what's gotten buried is like they've increased the number of teams. We're now up to 48 teams.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
You not only have the players, you've got the coaches, the staff, you've got all their families, all their friends, and then on top of that, like all the fans coming, and it's not just going to be coming for one or two games. And it's people that are going to be making an entire US sort of trip out of it, whether they're road tripping around, whether they're going to multiple destinations. So it's not just going to be these 12 cities that are seeing the increase in demand. I suspect it's going to be a phenomenon that we see across the United States. Which is why, like, we created a tracker. It's going to be updated weekly, and where we can really see where all this demand is going, because revenue managing around this is going to be really tough.
Yeah, you don't want to leave anything on the table.
Right.
Yeah. 2 comments on that. Europeans get 6 weeks vacation standard. So I would imagine a lot of this year's weeks will be used this summer. Secondly, the challenge of revenue managing around the games and whatnot. I'm shocked that there's already 18%. I'm curious, of that 18% in Seattle, how many are on a strict cancellation policy? How many are keeping flexible? Because a lot of people that are on a flexible cancellation policy are probably going to be getting hedged. They're going to have bookings in Atlanta and Boston and LA and see where their team lands. So
I'll give a caveat around that 18% occupancy. It's based on the current supply availability, and a lot of people aren't making their supply available yet. So they're waiting to get a better sense of like who's going to be in the groups, waiting to get a sense of what are the rates people are willing and able to book at. So I suspect, and over the next few months, you're going to see supply of listings go way up, and you're going to see occupancy relatively staying the same as more units get made available. And then you think back, and why are Airbnb, Vrbo, and Booking so excited about this? And during the Olympics in Paris, Airbnb grew inventory by 45% on a year-over-year basis.
The people who do one event, capitalize it, go on vacation somewhere else.
Yeah. So I suspect all of the platforms, OTAs, are expecting to see and have this be a catalyst for adding a lot of supply in these cities. We've already seen in cities like Kansas City sort of changing some of their laws and how you can host, what are the fees associated with getting a license. So they're seeing it as there's going to be a supply crunch, and that they actually need to do things to be able to open up more supply, and with Airbnb being a official World Cup lodging sponsor, like that, and they want to promote more people staying in short-term rentals around the event.
Yeah, and the challenge there is it's all cities, and a lot of those cities have banned it. LA, Boston, Seattle. I know Atlanta's had its challenges, New York. So I don't know if that's a missed opportunity on Airbnb's front, or poses a big opportunity on Airbnb's front, changing laws more than just the 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months of that city, or if it even happens at all. My guess is New York doesn't care. But
I'm already hearing some chatter on some changes to the law coming from New York of trying to open up a little bit, not sort of reverse the ban, but make it a bit more permissive in the lead up to the games.
Well, either way, the investors are probably loving that growth in supply on the quarterly earning calls that they're going to hear about with everyone jumping in. So especially if if Airbnb got 45% supply growth increase during the Olympics, I can imagine what this is going to do over 2 months for a 2-month event. So
yeah, supply growth with no context.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many of those are going to book again or make their calendar available again?
Exactly. Well, we don't need to limit.
In Paris, it was actually pretty sticky. Like it wasn't everyone, but a good percentage of those sort of stuck around and are still hosting. And Paris already has some pretty restrictive laws, but the laws actually work great for a market like Paris, where you can rent out 90 days. Like that's the limit. So for a lot of, in France, which takes the summer off, then your ability to rent out your home while you're not there, you head down to the coast, you have all the tourists coming in and staying in Paris during the summer when you're gone. Like the sort of good use of, and some people leaving, some people coming in, like let's make the best use of the real estate.
It's actually like how all of this, I mean, how Airbnb started, right? Like having people, it's not, all of us professional property managers, it's not as helpful, but for like the people who are actually trying to participate in, maximizing the value of their home, it makes a lot of sense. I was also thinking about Kansas City because a couple of years ago there was the Verma Spring Forum there, and which was a
Brutal.
interesting choice or location. But I was like super impressed with the city. But I mean, I can see why they're like, oh, we need to like really dramatically ramp up supply, because it's not a big city. So it's that'll be interesting. But their airport is gorgeous. So at least visitors will have a nice welcome in.
Yeah, maybe not all the cities, but at least that one.
I was thinking like I need to like really figure out when this is on the calendar and then like not be here.
Yeah.
It's like a catch-22, because it's like, oh, there's probably so many fun, like kind of once in a generation things that are going to be happening. Like the city's going to be like really alive, that it's like, but then if I need to go anywhere, it's going to be a nightmare.
Are the vuvuzelas still a big thing on the international soccer stage? Anybody know?
I had to Google what that was this morning,
Same.
so I'm not the person to answer.
They're a very loud, obnoxious little plastic horn that you used to be able to take into stadiums. Maybe you still can, but shows my soccer ignorance.
Yeah,
I know. There's someone in Europe like screaming at this podcast right now.
Leo,
Yeah.
love your input.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also thinking about all the sort of business ideas sort of coming up around the World Cup, like I'm thinking about renting out our home here in Atlanta. Like, man, I would love to, but the thought of sort of packing up everything we would need to be able to and make the home rentable is daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask Jamie on December 5th, are we going to have a chart from you that shows like the flat line of bookings and then a big spike when all the teams get announced with their cities? Is that going to be a fun game? We're going to play like who got the most.
We're already figuring out what could be the viral image that we sort of release akin to the eclipse post that we did.
Yeah, you really set the bar high with that. It's like, what are you going to do? How to get that viral moment?
Yeah. How do we beat 10 million views on Twitter?
I know.
Jamie's PR team works hard. If you thought you worked hard, they work harder. Yeah. So just know that the AirDNA team is crushing the PR.
No, we're already if anyone has any ideas on a great data visualization, let me know. Slip into the DMs.
Have a soccer ball going to a goal. I don't know.
And we have some clarity from Mike and Paul that vuvuzelas are no longer a thing. So that's exciting.
Listen, you were almost relevant. So close.
So good. So good. Well, that concludes today's episode, at least in the term of topics. And one of the fun and exciting things for this week is that we are in the week of Thanksgiving. So, thankful for all three of you. You make life so much fun, especially on Mondays, even if we are a little grumpy or haven't had our coffee yet. But I would love to hear what you guys got going in. Yes. Okay. Thank God. I got coffee except for Michael. What do you guys got planned for Thanksgiving? Any traditional plans that you guys normally do? Or are we doing something new? Brandy, you're in a new location. So kind of
I don't have to fly. I'm going up to my camp in the Adirondacks where we go every year. And Thanksgiving is like a Tuesday to Sunday event. Like even Thanksgiving Day is just like, you kind of have to do the classics, but the real fun is like all the stuff we're going to cook around that. We're going to have outdoor picnics with all my extended family, hiking, and cozy vibes inside the camp. So I'm very excited.
I like that.
Snow sounds like.
Yeah.
And snow.
Enjoy that. Most of my family is in Auburn now, but we'll be popping up to Atlanta for the day to see a little bit of extended family. But otherwise, excited to have a few days off with the kids. And I've got my brother and my best friend are coming in town, so we're gonna have a good Iron Bowl weekend, and we're going to beat Bama. Just going to say it. I'll predict it now. It's going to happen.
I was
Wow,
waiting
so
for it.
many bets happening on this episode.
Hey, feeling froggy.
What about you, Jamie?
Yeah, we're gonna be in Atlanta, hanging out. We rented out the cabin for the Thanksgiving weekend. Too much revenue to turn down, not to rent it out. So yeah, kids are off. We'll be hanging out, playing games, going hikes, things around the city.
Love it. Love it.
What about you, Will?
Yeah, I'll be staying home. My parents retired this year and moved to Florida. So instead of going to Seattle, back where I grew up in that area, I decided I'm going to wait to go visit them for Christmas. So more of a Friendsgiving, chill, go hiking, spend time in the
Touch dirt.
mountains, touch dirt. You know how it is.
Nice.
Never miss an opportunity. I did my 5th 14er in 5 weeks. So
Wow.
it,
I love this
yeah.
new hobby for you. You've really leaned in.
look, when you spend as much money on all the gear, you gotta do it.
Spending
You gotta
money on
force it.
gear is one way to really make sure that you have a financial incentive to go out every weekend.
100%. But I feel great every time I get back and I'm sore. So I like it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. But thank you to our live viewers for tuning in. Paul Manzi, as always. We got Terry White even sharing a fun Skift article about booking.com on the risk of ChatGPT and AI. And then, of course, Mike Nordy. Thanks for joining in on this Monday. We haven't seen you on the pod in a long time, so appreciate all your guys' comments. For the listeners, make sure you like and subscribe to your favorite, or not to your, on your favorite podcast channel, wherever you get your pods. And of course, if you want to check us out on the video version, you can go to YouTube or LinkedIn, because we stream right to both platforms and you can live engage with us each and every week. And don't forget, our hotel crew goes Wednesdays. But until then, we'll see you guys all next week. Happy holidays.